You okay in there? Who are you talking to? That's what I heard through a 6-inch gap in the bathroom door. Right as I was mid-sentence, finger pointed directly at my own reflection, saying something like, "You've got this, today's the day." Like my face owed me money and I was finally collecting. I froze. Full body freeze. The kind where your soul leaves your body for a second and watches from the ceiling. My roommate just stood there, hands still on the doorknob, waiting for an explanation. And every possible lie flashed through my brain at once. I was singing, I was on the phone, I was practicing an accent. None of it made sense with the context clues, which were my finger, my own eyes in the mirror, and the unmistakable cadence of a hype speech. Here's the thing about that freeze. It's not embarrassment exactly, not at first. It's flinch. It's the same reaction you'd have if someone walked in on you doing something you weren't supposed to do. Even though nothing about talking to yourself is actually against any rule that exists anywhere. Nobody wrote that law. And yet my body reacted like I'd been caught mid-crime. And the instinct to lie came before the instinct to explain. That's the part worth sitting with. Why does something so harmless trigger a cover story that fast? Why did my brain reach for "I was on the phone" before it reached for the truth, which was just, I was getting myself ready for the day? That reflex is hiding something, a belief we're carrying around that we never actually agreed to. Because here's the actual assumption underneath all of this, the one I want to drag out into the light. If someone catches you talking to yourself, especially to your own reflection, it means something is wrong with you. That you're losing it, that you're being childish. That's the story. And by the end of this, I want you to see why that story is basically nonsense. And why the shame I felt standing there had way more to do with culture than with my brain doing anything unusual. So let's talk about where that story even came from. Think about every time you've seen someone talk to a mirror in a movie or a show. 9 times out of 10, it's a villain, or someone spiraling, or the before the breakdown scene, right before things go really bad for that character. Pop culture has trained us, frame by frame, to treat mirror talk as a symptom, not a habit, a warning sign. And because of that, most people who do this, and almost everyone does, do it quietly, privately, and then assume they're the weird exception. You've probably rehearsed a text response out loud in your bathroom. You've probably said, "No, seriously, here's the thing," to nobody, gesturing like you're in a debate. And afterward, you didn't tell anyone because some part of you assumed you'd invented a new form of crazy. And what actual research says about this is going to completely flip how you think about that moment. Because it turns out the behavior you were hiding is one psychologists have been studying, on purpose, for decades. Self-directed speech, the technical term for talking to yourself, isn't some fringe curiosity. Developmental psychologists have been studying it since Vygotsky's work on what's called private speech in children. Watching kids narrate their own actions out loud as a way of organizing their thinking. Turns out we don't really grow out of that. We just get quieter about it, or move it to places with doors that lock. And it's not just harmless, it's functional. Research on self-talk shows it can improve focus, motivation, and performance on tasks. Athletes use it before competing, public speakers use it before walking on stage. It's not a glitch in the system. It's a tool people use on purpose, deliberately, to get their heads right. And the mirror part specifically isn't random either. Some therapists intentionally use mirror work, speaking to your own reflection, in confidence-building and social anxiety exercises, because it adds visual feedback you don't get just thinking words in your head. You're not just hearing yourself, you're watching yourself say it, which apparently makes it land differently in your brain. So if all of that is real, backed by actual psychology, actual clinical use, why did getting caught still feel like getting caught with my hand in a cookie jar? Because a lot of what gets muttered into a mirror isn't random noise. It's rehearsal. It's you running lines for a conversation you didn't get to finish, an apology you never got to give, an argument where you thought of the perfect comeback 4 hours too late, and now you're delivering it to your own face at 11 degrees off camera left. That's not chaos. That's your brain trying to simulate control in a situation where you had none. The moment already happened, you couldn't change it. But your brain wants a redo, so it stages one, and the mirror becomes a stand-in for whoever you couldn't fully say the thing to. Your boss, your ex, yourself 6 months ago, who made a decision you're still annoyed about. Which means the moment I got caught wasn't a crazy moment. It was a vulnerable one. I was mid-rehearsal for being okay. So why did it feel like getting caught doing something shameful, instead of just getting caught, I don't know, stretching? Here's the real answer, and it's not about the mirror at all. The shame isn't about the act. It's about being witnessed in an unfiltered, unproduced version of yourself. Think about how much of your day is performance. texts you reread before sending, faces you make in meetings that aren't your real face. Most social interaction is edited, even in real time. Mirror talk is one of the only unscripted, unaudienced moments a lot of people ever have. And getting caught collapses that. Suddenly the private self and the public self are standing in the same 6 inches of doorway, and there's no edit button. That gap, between the you that exists when no one's watching and the you that performs when someone is, that gap is where the embarrassment actually lives. Not in the act being abnormal, in the exposure of the real thing. So what does it mean that the most human, most honest moments we have are exactly the ones we're most desperate to hide? If that question is messing with your head a little, good. Because the next video digs into a version of this that's even weirder. Why we lie about tiny meaningless things automatically, before we even decide to. And what that says about how we think we're supposed to look to other people. If this one rewired something for you, that one's going to do it again. And it's the whole point of telling you this embarrassing thing that happened to me. The behavior I thought was weird is one of the most common private rituals humans have. Most people just never say it out loud, so everyone independently assumes they're the only one doing it. And that instinct to lie, to over-explain, to say I was on the phone, that's not proof of guilt. It's proof of how deep the myth goes, the one that says self-talk equals instability. The truth is basically the opposite. People who narrate their thoughts, who rehearse the hard conversation, who coach themselves out loud in a bathroom mirror at 7 in the morning, they're doing quiet, unpaid emotional labor most people just skip. They're doing the work. So the real question was never why I was talking to myself. It's why I ever thought I had to hide it. Getting caught mid-pep talk wasn't evidence that something was broken in me. It was evidence of something deeply, unremarkably human. A mind trying to prepare itself, process itself, practice being okay, before walking out the door and doing the actual harder thing. So next time you catch yourself mid-sentence to your own reflection, don't flinch. Don't cover it up. That voice is doing something for you. It's steadying you, rehearsing you, reminding you who you're trying to be today. You don't need an audience to be talking to someone who matters. You're already there, in the mirror, listening. Anyway, that happened,